have heard on high, sweetly singing o'er the plains and the mountains in reply.
Hello everybody, how you all doing? I hope you're all doing really well. Welcome back to another Vlogmas video. This one I am so excited about because genuinely this is one of my favourite things to do in the Christmas season, and that is wrap presents. I've watched countless videos over the years of YouTubers making some amazing creations with wrapping paper and some little bits of extras, but genuinely this is my take on some classic traditional wrapping paper ideas with a twist. As you can see in front of me, I've got a lot of different options. We've done some bottle wrapping, we've got some little alternative bits we've done with some pages of a book. So as you can see in front of me, I have wrapped 6 different items in 6 different ways using different papers, different materials, ribbons, paint, you name it, we've tried it. If you want to carry on watching the video, you're going to be seeing 6 ways to wrap Christmas presents this year to make them as Pinterest and Instagrammable as possible. If you do enjoy the video, don't forget to give the video a thumbs up, don't forget to hit subscribe, and also let me know in the comments down below which end result you like the best, because I always like to see which one people find is their favourite. So yeah, without further ado, make yourself a Christmas cup of tea, coffee, something stronger, mulled wine maybe, and enjoy the Christmas festive wrapping. Let's go. So for this wrapping tutorial video, you're going to need some supplies. I have a wrapping box here. Now this is a little bit excessive, but I absolutely love it, and I think it is really handy just to keep everything in. So I've got all sorts in here: ribbons, stick-on snowflakes, stars, berries, twine, cards. I also use double-sided sellotape. This is from Sellotape the brand, and it's really handy. I have a pair of scissors, and also for one of the DIYs you're going to need a glass bowl and some paint. So the first DIY wrapping we're going to do is a brown paper with some stick-on white chalk paint and a sponge. This is a super easy DIY, really easy to do, and it comes out nice and effective. So you're going to need some brown paper to start off with. This is just regular parcel paper, super easy, super affordable. And you just want to cut a piece of brown parcel paper to size. I allow a little bit of excess when I'm cutting just to make sure that the piece I do have fits around all of the edges. Also, a really handy tip when you're using paper like this is to roll it the other way just to make it nice and flat, so when you are stamping on with your sponge it doesn't roll around. So I've just got a regular household sponge here, and I've just cut a piece off, and then I've cut a circle off that piece and just rounded off the edges. It doesn't have to be too perfect at all. It just means that when you are dabbing your paint onto your paper, it'll be nice and round and circular and rustic. You can do lots of different designs if you want, but I like the round effect. Then I'm just squeezing some of the chalk paint into a glass dish. This is actually from Poundland for £1. And using the sponge, you just want to dab a good amount of the chalk paint, but not too much, onto the paper, otherwise it won't dry. And just do complete random dots here. There's no like rhyme or reason. You can just go as many or as little as you like. I kind of went ham here, but it kind of worked out really well. And I like that some of them are more heavy and some of them are lighter. And I just dotted it around the paper. And then all you want to do is just set the paper to the side to dry completely. So once it's dried, turn it over, and then you want to start wrapping your box. So I've just trimmed off the excess here. As I said, it's better to have more paper than less, and you can definitely use the excess paper. So just folding it over nice and easy, and this is where the double-sided sticky tape comes in handy. So just folding over the edges to make sure you've got a nice clean crease, and just add the double-sided sticky tape, and then just fold in your corners. Really easy. But as you'll see, the overall effect's quite nice. It's really rustic. And then I've just used some regular twine here. This is just natural brown twine. You can get this in most card shops. And I've added a piece of fake eucalyptus as well. I think this just adds a really nice natural touch, kind of like a Scandinavian finish. And just a piece of cinnamon stick and a brown tag. These are from, I think these are actually from Tiger, and they're £1 for 20. And I've just slid that through the hole with the brown twine and then just tied it up, and that is literally as easy as that. It is such an easy, quick tutorial, but I just think it looks absolutely really effective. And I think people will really enjoy this as well. It makes it look like you've made a lot of effort, and it's cheaper to buy than the real stuff. The second tutorial we're going to go for is a traditional tartan wrap. Now, I absolutely love the effect of this. It's really natural and all of the work's in the paper. So this paper is actually from Marks & Spencer and I featured it in a recent haul. If you want to check that video out, I'll link it down below. It's great, it's really high quality. It's a little bit more expensive than traditional wrapping paper, but I think it shows. And I'm classically just wrapping the box here. When I'm wrapping, I make sure the edges are tight towards the end of the item I'm wrapping, just to make sure you don't get any of that like saggy excess. It's also a really good idea to tip the item upside down so when the person opens it, they get the top of the item first. And I'm just folding the ends here just to make sure that it stays nice and clean for when I actually sellotape the ends together. And there we are, I'm just folding the edges over just to make sure that they're all nice and crease free. And then so now I've wrapped the box, I'm going to start with some more of that natural Hessian twine that I had. And I also think for this I'm going to go for a natural effect too, so I've got some berries and some pine cones. I think for me my traditional wraps I think it is my favourite way to wrap. I love this whole like glitz and sparkle and all that kind of stuff, but I just love traditional wrapping, so hence why I've gone for the berries and the pine cones. Thing with the twine I've actually done here is add lots and lots of elements to it, so I've wrapped it around the box several times in each direction. I just think it adds another texture and dimension. It is a little bit more, I guess you could say wasteful because you're using more of it, but I absolutely love it and I think the overall effect is amazing. And now all I'm doing is just tying the pine cone and the berries on, just securing it with a double knot, and added another name tag just to say Merry Christmas and trimmed off the excess twine. And that is the finished result. I think it looks really nice and effective. The third wrapping technique I'm going to go for is a little bit different. It does require a bit of effort, but I think it looks really nice. We've gone for a piece of a book wrap with an added berry and butcher's twine. So again, starting with the brown paper, just measure out enough to cover a box and trim off any excess that you do need. Trimming off excess is a really good idea because then it means you get nice, clean, crisp edges rather than the ones that just kind of bunch up and just don't really look as neat. And the double-sided sellotape really is handy here as well because it just helps hide any issues or sins that you've had. So yeah, whenever I fold, I do try and bulk in the edges and fold those nice and tightly as well. It just makes for a nice clean. So for this you're going to need some pieces of book. Now I just put this aside a couple of months back, but this was actually a book that the pages fell out of. If you don't have one of those, if you're booked from a charity store that you have no intentions of reading or you've read many times, if you just take a couple of the pages out of the back, maybe like the acknowledgements, you can still read the book. Now all I've done is just folded the book on top of each other and kind of like filtered it towards be like an escallop, I think it is, escalloped, and then I've just tied a double piece of sticky tape onto the box and then stuck the piece of book on top of the box, and it's just got a nice overall effect. And then I'm just tying some butcher's twine on top of it. This is just red and white butcher's twine. Again, this I think was from Marks and Spencer's, and I've just tied it around the box to ensure that the piece of book's really stuck onto the brown paper. I just think this is a really nice effect because it contrasts against the white and the brown. And then all I've done is just stick a piece of double-sided sticky tape onto the box and then adhered a white snowflake onto it as well. I just think again for contrast this looks amazing. And then all I've done as well is just took a piece of red berry. This is actually faux red berry from Poundland, and just slotted it underneath and just trimmed off the excess twine. And that is it. It's really, really effective, but I think with a book it just adds a nice traditional touch. The next thing we're going to do is a bottle wrap. Now this is one that is definitely going to come in handy for anyone who's buying any spirits or wines this Christmas. All you're going to need is some tissue paper. I've got some gold here from the Card Factory and you get 6 sheets for 99 pence. And I've got a bottle here. This is a bottle of Campari that I'm going to gift to someone. And when you're wrapping bottles, it's a really good idea to use large pieces of paper. Tissue paper is fantastic because you can scrunch it and it doesn't really like have any issues. It's got a lot of give. So if you just scrunch it around the neck of the bottle, make sure all of the pieces are nice and tight. And then I've taken some clear cellophane. Now I know this isn't exactly environmentally friendly, but it's great because tissue paper does have a tendency to be quite fragile and rip. And again, I've just done the same, just wrapped it around the bottle of the neck, making sure it's nice and taut around the neck so that you haven't got any like bunches or things coming loose. And then again, I've just laid the bottle on its side and use some of the butcher's twine. Again, it's just super classic, guys. You know, sticking to like a colour palette of golds and whites and reds and browns, and just making sure it's nice and tight. As you can see here, I'm just pulling all of it in just to make sure it's not going to come loose. And then all I'm going to do is just attach a name tag to this and a candy cane. Again, super easy. Honestly, this takes hardly any time at all, but I just think it looks a lot more expensive, and it kind of looks like it's been gift wrapped in store as well. So if you've got any bottles of wine lying around or some spirits and you think they'd be great for someone this Christmas, just zhuzh it up with a bit of cellophane and some tissue paper. The next wrap I absolutely love. This is kind of like a multi-layered ribbon and twine wrap, and I think it looks brilliant. So for this, you're going to need a block colour of paper. So I've got this nice red metallic foil one, which is from Marks and Spencer's, and I'm just trimming it down to size here. And then using the double-sided tape, I've just made sure it's nice and tight and wrapped it and folded down the sides just to make sure it's all perfectly wrapped. So for this, you're going to need some fabric ribbon. Now this is actually from HomeSense and I got it last year, but this fabric ribbon has Christmas trees on it and I just think it looks really nice. And again, all I'm doing is just wrapping it around the parcel several times, but going in alternate directions, so just so it bulks it out. And then I've just secured that with a knot. And then in the opposite direction, I'm gone in with some more baker's twine and then tied that in the middle as well, just to make it look like it is a ribbon, but with two separate textures. Again, you don't have to go around several times. I just really like the effect of it and I think it works great. And then the last thing you need to do is just slot a candy cane through, which I think looks absolutely brilliant. Now this wrap is fantastic, and this is the final wrap. This is again a natural wrap, but we've got some ribbon and some berries going on. I absolutely love brown parcel paper. It's honestly so versatile. You can use it for 101 different things. I use it throughout the year as well when I'm sending parcels, but especially at Christmas, I just think it looks really traditional. So I'm just going to wrap the box up like I classically would, using the double-sided sticky tape and making sure it's nice and secure on the box. And then I'm using a nice textured gold and red ribbon here. And again, all I've done is just wrapped it around the box several times just to make sure it's all nice and tight. Obviously, like I've said before, you don't have to do this. I just think it is a really nice effect, and it just, you know, makes it look nice, and I guess it looks a bit more expensive and you put more time into it rather than just using the one piece. So when I'm doing this, what I do is ensure it's nice and tight with a double bow in the middle, and then I add a secondary piece of ribbon into the middle just to, you know, bulk it out again and just give another texture. So I'm just pulling the bow to make sure it's nice and taut, and then trimming off any excess, and then I add a secondary bow on top just again to really emphasize that. The good thing about brown parcel paper as well is that you can write directly onto it, so you don't need any name tags, saving you a bit of money and time. So I've just wrote Merry Christmas and a little kiss, and then all I've done again is just slot a piece of the berry just underneath the ribbon just to make it look nice and fancy. And that is literally it. How easy is that? Super easy Christmas wrapping. If you do enjoy the video, don't forget to give the video a thumbs up. Don't forget to hit subscribe, and I'll catch you guys very soon. Bye for now.